The Cartesian coordinate system, or the Cartesian plane, what is it? What do we use it for? How does it work? You're about to find out. So when we're looking at the Cartesian coordinate system, or it's more commonly called the Cartesian plane, it's used to locate a point in two dimensions. So when we're looking at those two dimensions, we typically have x and y. So we have the x and the y dimension. The x is always horizontal. It's always running left to right. The y is always vertical. Now, we always need to have these things on our graphs. Okay, this is the most common type of graphing. We also need to have some sort of numbering on our graph. We're starting at the middle. Now, this middle point here is actually always referred to as the origin, and that point is 0, 0. So this point here is 0, 0, and we'll get to that in a second. But from that point, if we're going up, that's always going to be positive. So I'm going to just count every box as 1 here, and I'm going to skip a box each time. And then also going to the right is positive. So here we'd have 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, it's very important that we number this so that if somebody else was looking at our graph, they'd be able to tell where the points are that we label. Okay, now I'm putting negative numbers in here because if it going up and to the right is positive, then that means going down and to the left would be negative. You don't have to include every single box. You notice that I skipped some boxes, but you should include at least 3 or 4 in each direction. It doesn't take much to actually do that labeling. Okay? We can also look at this kind of plane here, or the graph, and break it into quadrants. Now, when we talk about that, and you're going to hear this a lot in graphing, this is always quadrant 1, and we do it in Roman numerals. This is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3, and then quadrant 4. Okay, if you just wrote them as 1, 2, 3, 4, that's also not a big deal, but typically they are denoted with Roman numerals. Okay, so when we're moving through, when we actually graph a point, we also call these points ordered pairs. Okay, so an ordered pair is always the x first and then the y. The way you can remember it is just alphabetical order. Okay, but to graph these, we always need 2 numbers. Now, people a lot of the times think that 0 is not a number, but it definitely is when we're talking about graphing. So for instance, this first one, we have 2 and 5. What this means is we're going to go over 2 and up 5. But where are we going? Well, let's put our scale on. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, and the top would be 10. Same thing here, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10, -2, -4, -6, -8, -2, -4, -6, -8. And this is always 0. It's 0 going up and down and 0 going left and right. So if I'm going 2 and then 5, my x-axis is always the first number. So what that means is I'm moving over 2 to there. That's not my point though. And then I need to go up 5. So my point A is right there. So what we have for A is we have, we'll change colors here. We'll write it in red. A is 2 and 5. We went 2 to the right and then up 5. Okay, so now let's do P. Well, P is -4. So -4 would be right here. But again, we're not finished at -4. We have to go -4 and then -5. So I'm going to go down 5 from -4, and I'm going to label it there. Okay, so this is point P, and it's -4, -5. Always the x first, and then the y. The horizontal moving first, and then the vertical. All right, again, for C, we're going to be going down because we have a -6, but we're going to the right first. We always need to remember we're going left and right first. So I'm looking at the +1. I'm going to go to the right, and then I'm going to go down 6. So I'm right there. Get my other marker out here. We've got point M, whoops, which is 1, -6. Q, I'll do Q here as well. We've got yellow. We've got -2 and then 9, so I'm going to go 2 to the left because I'm going left and right first, and then up 9. Okay? So we've got Q is -2 and 9. Now, the next one, it's got -7 and 0. So for that one, what we actually have is just a point right there. Okay, and I'm going to leave it yellow just so that you can kind of see it. So this one, otherwise it would be hard to see on the axis. This one is R, and it's just -7, 0. Okay, it's right on the axis. All right, the last one, we have a 0 first, so that means we don't go up and down at all. Or sorry, left or right at all. We do only go up and down. So we're going to go all the way up to 8. And then we've got F. Oh, need to be blue. F, which is 0 and 8. Okay? Let's look at the last thing where we're actually labeling numbers here. Now, if I look at this scale, first thing I notice is that it's only got 4 numbers. So it's a little bit hard to read, but it's saying that every box is 1. So if I'm looking at this, the first thing I need to notice as well when I'm kind of going through this is we've got A, B, C, D, E, F. So I'm going to just write them over here. A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so A, I've gone over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 to the left, so that means I'm -6, and then I went down 1. So down 1. Okay, I literally just wrote it on to my graph so that I could see it. Now I'm probably not going to do that every time, but if you're confused, if you don't see it, it's obviously easier for me to erase because I'm using a computer, but you can just erase it after. Okay, so for B, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I write in my 5. Then we went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty easy. All right, let's get rid of those. Next one, we've got C, which is 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you don't need to do these little steps, if you don't need to draw it on there, you absolutely don't have to. I'm just doing that to show you what I'm doing and where I'm getting my numbers from. Okay, so D, we're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's -4 because we went to the left. Then we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. 2 more here. E, we just went 1, 2, and we didn't go up or down. So we put our 2 and then 0 for the up and down. And F, we didn't go left or right at all. So we've got 0, and then we went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and that's pretty much the basics to the Cartesian coordinate system. We'll talk about a little bit more as we move through the course.